welcome back, everybody. I'm Mike Curley.
This is Frank Curley. It looks like the sun's out again,
Which is weird because it was dark out when we saved. I guess maybe because I don't know. You killed the moon, so the sun comes out. That's where we just were. Where are we going next?
Hold on.
You did all 4 of them.
Huh.
What?
We'll see what happens. Anyway.
Welcome back, champion.
Something might have... Oh, okay, here we go. Now it's completed.
What happened?
For some reason, it was reset to the status before I got through that.
Huh.
For some reason.
That is weird.
But it's okay. We fixed the planet.
You turned it off and turned it on.
Yeah, I'm trying to turn it off and on. Alright, so now we go to the Domain of the Sentinels, which is definitely one of the more labyrinthine ones. Yeah.
So are we talking Days of Future Past? Are we going to find a bunch of dead X-Men in this?
No, but here we go. So where the music's a bit more menacing.
A little more grainy, it looks like. Just the textures. Alright, oh, so it's like completely different enemy design.
Yep, for every world.
Okay, that's neat. Kind of gives it more of a personality and...
Yeah, good.
So it's not just...
Start down. Anyway.
So it's not just...
an ever-evolving group of enemies.
It's not just every... Yeah, it gives it the sense you are going to different... Kind of like Turok.
Yeah.
Where you're not fighting the same... It gives each one an identity.
Yeah, like in Turok, you do fight the dinosaurs all over the place, but every single level after the first one introduces new enemies that are exclusively there. Oh yeah, we need that. So yeah, that's kind of what I like about it. Like in Doom, it's just like this ever-evolving, just...
Yeah, well, in Doom, you're fighting one monolithic force for the most part.
Yeah.
You're not fighting a bunch of factions. You're fighting hell.
Yeah. So, yeah, it gives each area a bit more personality. Now, you probably noticed those were a bit more Lovecraftian.
Yeah, they looked a little,
especially
weirder.
The squid head there. Like, take a close look at this guy. Have some armor, but otherwise taken over.
Yeah. It's reminiscent of Terry Pratchett's The Discworld description of mixed between a octopus and a bicycle. That's how he described his outsider-type guys. Just... Notice the things from the dungeon dimension. The way he described them always put to mind, like, shoddy stop-motion animation.
Yeah, I can see that working for Lovecraftian horrors.
Yeah, something that didn't look like it belonged in this universe.
Yeah.
What did that say?
Oh, actually, yeah.
Imperfect will be destroyed. Well, got news for you. None of you guys look perfect.
Well, that's kind of the funny thing. Yeah, you'll see messages obsessed with symmetry, but then they're taken over by a nebulous force.
Yeah, nothing has been symmetrical that you fought here so far here.
Yeah.
The guys in the last...
The damage is done.
The guys in the last version, the last place, were more symmetrical.
Yeah.
At least before you started chopping things off of them.
Well, then they were in half.
Well, they were in bits.
Bits is a shape. Yeah, you gotta be careful of those guys.
Oh, so it's like the Ganados.
Oh, yeah, actually.
You kill them and then the heads pop off.
Yeah. Doesn't happen all the time. So, let's see.
That is interesting. The last level gave you the homing thing first.
Yeah.
This one, I guess it trusts that you know how to aim at this point.
Yep. Yeah, occasionally, like in the Forges, I think you get the second weapon, the staff.
What is that?
This is a Star of Torment. Uses green mana, and it's a pretty powerful shot.
Yeah, it looks like it goes fast.
Yeah. It's been compared to the Super Shotgun.
Okay.
Though
it looks like it doesn't have a spread. It's just the one thing.
Yeah, so it's kind of like sort of the reverse, where
like
it
a
is
rifle.
Yeah, a bit more powerful, but I mean it does spread to a point.
Okay, yeah, it spreads a little bit.
But it's definitely made for more concentrated shots.
Let's see how it does. What is that? It's ugly.
I think. Oh, I'm thinking of something else, but.
Alright, so this pins things to the wall.
Yeah. And these things are a pain in the ass before you get the staff. And this guy is just completely lost.
It's like, guys, where'd we go?
And that is enough to get in my way. There.
Well, an axe to the junk, that'll do it. See, I want to know what the shotgun ice thing, what that looks like in the super mode.
It's kind of like a. It's. Well, yeah, I might show you during the boss. But.
Yeah, so I guess is the implication that the Sentinels were wiped out by these things, like these things took over,
Right.
Or are these the Sentinels themselves?
They were taken over, and at least, yeah, that's my guess. I think in the Codex, it says it outright. And
Yeah, because the thing is, if it's talking about symmetry and perfection, this does feel a bit like
oh, here we go.
somebody effed up.
Yep.
Like it's nothing but eyeballs.
Yep. 8% eyeballs, 60% mouth.
I think that's a beholder.
Yep. Oh, did you see the Seth Kurkowski thing on the beholder?
Yeah. I like his stuff.
Yeah.
He seems to have a lot of fun. See, I'm seeing Orange Mana, but I didn't see the Planet Fire thing yet.
I think it's close.
It must be, otherwise why would they be giving you ammo for it?
So as you can see, we already have like half the weapons already. So.
Yeah, I'm guessing there is a screen nuke kind of weapon at some point.
Yep. But we'll be seeing that soon. Yeah. Yeah, I found the best way is just to go straight forward.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Prince of Persia Sands of Time trilogy. It's like you have these wall run things with all these buzzsaws and everything, but there's always just that one moment.
It was like the best thing to do is bolt.
Yeah.
That was a lesson learned in Super Mario Brothers.
Yep.
So I remember that bit with like a bunch of little gaps and like how do you? I cannot jump precisely, and then like you just hold B and you run. Sometimes screaming. Where's the planet launcher? I don't. Just the idea behind that weapon is so absurd to me. I love it.
Yeah, it's not quite the same as some of Duke Nukem stuff with them. Where did you even come from? Where there's a freeze ray that is honestly a bit more complicated, a bit too complicated to use effectively as a shotgun, but it's still just kind of fun to have around.
Well, I'm finding like just the added chance of status effects is just always a boon.
Yeah.
Like you saw in Fell Seal. Anything that could just add any kind of effect was usually useful, especially if it stunned or delayed or slowed them in some way.
Well, one of the most useful things in Pillars of Eternity is definitely the grease floor. Because when you're surrounded, you could just make one of your flanks just not a problem anymore for a little while.
Yeah, triangle strategy has a similar thing where you could set whole chunks of the map on fire for a while, and the enemies will not go through it unless they have no other choice. You pair that with certain traps that can, knock people back or hold them in place for a bit. I especially in strategy games, I like area denial and that kind of managing crowds.
Yeah. Like, the original Sin, those two games, those were nuts for all kinds of stuff. Ugh. Yeah, I don't think I've been crushed by those things before, but it wouldn't surprise me if that was a thing.
Yeah, that felt like a trap.
There's some satisfaction of just like waving the sword around and they're just dead. Alignment must be observed.
Yeah, you got to make sure your tires are in the right place.
Yeah.
Order is
Yeah,
perfection, and perfection is order.
Or is perfection? Perfection is power.
Oh.
Breach. Ah!
Swimming in eyeballs. Yeah, there's definitely. I do like the crunchy feel of the weapons.
Yeah, it's really good sound design. And cross the divide. Oh, okay. Ooh.
I guess that's the divide.
Oh, yeah. Where the hell is my planet? Oh, there it is. Oh, can I please?
Yeah,
Yes.
sure.
Balls. Just a second, guys.
Be with you in a minute.
God. That thing's chasing me, isn't it? Yeah, I guess it can fly.
Be with you in a second, gentlemen.
I'm having a moment.
Can you jump in this? Oh yeah,
Oh,
I've
yeah.
seen you jump.
Yep.
Why did I ask that?
Man, you came a long way. Just die.
A long way for that.
Those things are faster than they look.
I mean, they don't look like they should be able to move at all. Eldritch horrors and all that.
Yeah, this is a game of simple pleasures. Like, wee! Crunch.
But you followed me all this way. Smack. Yeah, I've been thinking of. They added one of the GBA Fire Emblem games to Nintendo Switch Online.
Oh, yeah, Elliowood's game. Which
Well,
is either Blazing Sword or Blazing Blade, depending on which
Blazing Blade,
trade.
I think, is what they called it. They call it here. I'm gonna give that a shot.
Yeah, I definitely want to give you some heads up on, because
Yeah, I know there's some bollocks involved.
well, it's one of the earlier versions of actually no, it's
It's the original game, isn't it? Like a remake of the original game.
no for the GBA. This is Elliowood's game. This is the 7th game, and the support system.
Yeah, I know. You mentioned that it's not the best implemented.
Yeah. See, there's an example of a strong enemy being taken out by that. I didn't think I was going to be able to hit it. I was like, I'm stupid. Why am I doing this? And I hit him.
Yeah, I liked how Three Houses did it,
Yeah.
where you could do it through various activities, or just literally pairing them up, like having one follow the other around on the battlefield.
Yeah.
And also a good way to level them both up at the same time.
It's a conglomeration of a lot of methods they used in the past, and what works for Three Houses is that they give you a lot of options. Where in a lot of games you just kind of had one.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, what it amounts to is Violet eating 17 meals in a day to make sure all his students are motivated. His or her, depending on who you chose, what you pick.
I still kind of prefer how Path of Radiance does it. It's how many battles shared.
Yeah, that makes sense too. That's something like again, one of the things I liked in Fell Seal was that your AP was just for participating. It wasn't per action.
Yeah.
even if you were knocked out at the end of the fight. Otherwise, Reiner would not have gotten any levels.
Oh god, he really was our whipping boy.
You know, I tended to overextend with him and just get overconfident, put him out of position.
Well,
where what I should have been doing was putting something ranged in his hand and having him like hang toward the back.
Well, I feel like roguish characters are always a tricky balance, where it's like, all right, what constitutes as low armor? What's the divide between, you know, acceptable and dying just by glancing at them?
Plus, I feel like we were kind of under-leveled for a lot of that, too.
Yeah.
Which I don't mind. Adds a little bit to the challenge. Adds a little bit. Part of it, yeah, I didn't do a lot of grinding between sessions. Mostly I used the missions. And there was other stuff, like there was tournaments I wasn't doing. Didn't really do any of the hunts. Oh, maybe if we want more, we could do go back to some of the hunts, or even a New Game Plus thing. Because New Game Plus in that is kind of interesting, where you get to choose what you what you carry over.
All right.
So you could carry over any like equipment, levels, or just your jobs. So you can start at level 1, but with all the abilities unlocked.
Okay, so you basically focus your stats wherever you want at that point.
Yeah.
All right. See, that's the problem I have, especially the early implementations of New Game Plus, where it's just like, it's not really balanced at all.
Yeah. It's actually kind of funny, the New Game Plus in Triangle Strategy makes the opening tutorial fight really difficult. Because it's the one fight where you cannot choose your guys. You have a specific positioning and a limited number of guys, and it has 2 boss characters. Now, the first time you go through, they're not any stronger than their goons, but every subsequent time they're upgraded to like full boss levels, and they start close to one of your guys and between you and him. So, like, unless you know what you're doing, it's really easy to lose people there. But yeah, New Game Plus is always interesting to me because I don't replay a lot of long games, especially RPGs.
Yeah. Well, it's a time commitment. Yeah, and we're both adults.
Well, that and like, yeah, once I've spent 30 or 40, 50 hours in something, it's like, okay, I don't necessarily want to do that again. Even with games I have loved, it's just like, they're big. Yeah. Like, I love Xenoblade Chronicles. I will probably never replay it because I think if I rushed through, I would still spend 100 hours on the thing.
Yeah, I didn't beat it, but I don't even think I got to the halfway point, and that was like 60 hours.
Yeah, it's a big game, and like you said, time commitment. I got other things to do.
Yeah. See, there's kind of a point where it's like they're technically dead, but you still got to charge with them. So if you let go, you lose it.
One kind of interesting take on New Game Plus that I've seen is it's not even really a New Game Plus, but Valkyrie Profile 2, when you beat it, it puts like a crystal on the home screen, and that increases the difficulty when you play a new game. And you can keep doing this to the point that the tutorial fight will one-shot you. And I'm sure if you look, there's probably a speedrunner who does that with friggin' Donkey Kong bongos or something. But
I'm laughing, but yeah, I know what you mean. Like someone did,
and that's when I don't think it even like lets you, I don't remember. I don't think it lets you carry things with you. So you're just like starting. It's more of a test of just knowing the game than like upping the difficulty because you brought a bunch of stuff with you from the playthrough.
I heard of someone who beat Dark Souls with a Guitar Hero controller, and it's like it has like weird things like you could go right, you can go left.
So like Zoolander.
Yeah, yeah. Zoolander mode for Dark Souls. Like, I got through Elden Ring recently, and I decided to do the new game. Now, there are options when you beat it. Either you keep playing in the world as it was when you beat it. So if there's a boss that you missed, you can go back and get that real quick. And I've done that. And then you can go to this main citadel to do New Game Plus. And now the way they do it is it's slightly harder every single time. But holy crap, it's a cakewalk right now. It's bosses I had trouble with. I'm like just eating their hits.
Yeah, I remember I tried very briefly playing the New Game Plus in Xenoblade Chronicles 1. Is like the first game did not have a very elegant New Game Plus because it just you started at level 80. You started at what you started and you ended with. And it did a thing where like you could carry over equipment, but a limited amount. So like when you went to save your game on beating it, you had to choose which pieces of equipment. And again, this is a 100-hour game, so you had a lot of equipment to sort through.
Yeah, and I remember the inventory in that game. Yeah.
I'm guessing they probably improved that for the definitive. I'm talking about the Wii version.
Yeah.
The definitive edition on Switch, as I understand, really cleans things up. Now, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 didn't really have the same focus on equipment, so I think you just carry over everything. And 3 is similar. Like, each subsequent game has made better quality of life improvements. Like, in 2, for instance, if you did New Game Plus, once you get to a town, you can talk to, I think they're bards, to cash in your levels and level yourself down, and then spend that experience with them for other bonuses. We do not falter.
All evidence to the contrary.
Whereas Xenoblade Chronicles 3, once you beat it, you can just, at any point in the camp, lower and raise your levels however you see fit. Which is great for, like, the DLC missions that came out later, where it's like, those were set for, like, levels 20 and 40, not the level 99 I was when I beat the game. Actually, no, I was not actually at level 99. I went to level 99 to fight the biggest bonus boss, who was level 120.
Oh, it was 99 your cap.
Yes.
That's fair.
It was an exercise in dodge tanking, because if you got hit, you were done.
I love enemy I didn't even see that. Oh!
Cover will not save you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one I felt handled it very, much more elegantly.
Why are they glowing?
I don't know.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah. Honestly, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is a game I could see myself playing through again, as long as it is, just because I love the game.
Honestly, Elden Ring, I used to think that starting a new character would be a bit of a lurch, but now I might prefer that, to actually have a challenge. Because, I don't need everything to be Elden Ring levels up, but I need some kind of pushback, some kind of consequence of me acting like a dumbass. Completely missed that.
How do you whip? It wasn't even moving.
Yeah. So yeah, this switch opens that door. I can't. Yeah, this place is just a complete maze.
Not very symmetrical either. If that was their whole big thing, you'd think they would be into it. I think probably the game I played most with New Game Plus type stuff is either Metal Gear Solid, the original, or like Resident Evil 2. Years ago, I was on a real big kick for that game, and actually got to the point where I could get like the souped up hidden weapons legitimately just from playing it quickly and well.
Yeah, because we used to...
We used to Game Shark it, but like, this was like...
A little later. I remember you were on that kid. Like, you beat Resident Evil 4, and you just like, alright, I need to play all of them now.
Well, not all of them. I mostly 2. I just got stuck on. Not stuck on. I was playing through it repeatedly, and yeah, I actually got. I never finished the Fort Survivor thing. I'm not that good at that challenge thing, but yeah, I got to the point where I was like regularly getting the Gatling gun and everything else. Yeah, I've only really played through the remake of 1. Played through 0. I thought it had some interesting ideas. Never played through 3 because the idea of the Nemesis gives me anxiety.
Yeah, I mean, survival horror.
Yeah, but I don't like the whole idea of like, oh, this thing is actually following you and you can't get away from it. I don't enjoy that. It's the reason. The reason I have also no desire to play the Resident Evil 2 remake.
Oh, because Tyrant does that?
Yeah, Tyrant. They made it's weird. They made Tyrant in the remake more like Nemesis, or Mr. X, I should say. Whereas in the 3 remake, as I understand it, Nemesis is more like Mr. X was in the 2, where it's mostly scripted
Yeah.
and set pieces.
Ah.
Purple.
Yep.
Now what?
Oh, you'll see. Very soon.
Oh boy. Let's see. We've got a kind of ice shards, electrical bolts. I'm guessing fire.
Well, this is arguably fire, since it explodes from the molten core and all that.
Okay, yeah, it's a meteor swarm kind of thing.
Yeah, and the way they die, they kind of glow red, so...
Alright, so I wonder... I'm just guessing it's like an elemental thing. I could be completely wrong.
Well, it's kind of like a lot of games where you have like an elemental system. There's that weird one.
So it's like an ethereal kind of thing.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. What was that? I've never heard that sound before.
No planets.
Look.
Jeez, you were at full health like a second ago.
Yep. Well, yeah, those flying head things, they actually do a legitimate amount of damage. Yeah.
Fucking I will.
You piece of...
Bobbing and weaving.
Yeah.
Is there multiplayer in this?
No.
Hmm.
No co-op, and unfortunately this game doesn't really have much of a modding community.
Huh.
Which is a real shame. Well, I can kind of think of some reason why. Like, doing the thing with the weapon sprites, that had to have been a lot of work, and the thing about mods is you want to try to keep it consistent.
Yeah.
So if you introduce a new weapon, you have to do all, the graphical stuff they've done in the original game, and this probably took a lot of time to get down.
So, reality is truth. Our truth is all.
Whee!
Now the laundry chute fly away.
Yeah. The whole place is a maze except that. That's a laundry chute. Just there. We're professionals. Anyway.
Hey, I once reported on a court case, and about half an hour after the judge admonished everybody to turn off their cell phones, the judge's phone went off. So it happens.
Still not a good idea to be sassy with the judge.
No, you definitely don't want to make the judge. But it was kind of funny. He's like, you know what? Fair. If this was anyone else, I'd be throwing you out. But I'm the judge. No, like he acknowledges a mistake. He's like, okay, yeah, I should have taken my own orders.
All hands, please.
Yeah, that's the one time I've been sworn in. Because the judge had to approve me using a audio recorder, and one of the attorneys wanted to ask me what I was using it for, so they actually swore me in.
Stop bobbing and weaving.
It was actually kind of funny where, like, you know, I told them what I was using it for, just to make sure my story was accurate. You are low on health, man.
Yep.
And then one of the attorneys goes, like, I say this under oath, and then one of the attorneys goes, like, how do we know he's going to use it for that? And the judge goes, well, he just said it under oath. You know, we kind of have to believe him.
Yeah, I mean, you know, a lot of people like to go, oh, you can't trust him. It's like, no, we kind of need to.
Yeah, you lie under oath, that's trouble.
Yeah, you do need to, at some minimum, trust someone. Okay, so we're running through this pretty quickly.
So how many episodes are in this one? Another 3? Or?
Yeah, it's each one is 3 levels and a boss.
Okay.
So, but I can't really promise that we'll get the rest of them done within an hour. Because especially the forges.
Crafty bastards.
Yeah, there's some environmental damage, but not a whole lot. That's kind of one downside. So, when I first played through this game, when I first got this, PC, I decided to give myself kind of like a heavy metal-esque trilogy of shooters. Ion Fury, Dusk, and this. Both Ion Fury and Dusk have a lot of, interactive stuff with the environment. Like, there is environmental damage in Ion Fury, and something about the sprite work makes it stand out a lot more than it would in a 3D environment. But in fact, you don't even have an interaction key. You run against a switch and it just comes on.
Just like your shoulder checking it.
More or less. Okay, where is it? There it is.
Or you shoot the switch.
This gives you no time to grab it. There. I almost shot it again. That would be pointless. So, up here we have some goodies. Yep, purple, we want that.
We still haven't gotten the Purple Man weapon, though.
We will soon.
You said that before.
Very soon. Over there somewhere.
Oh, okay.
So, after all of this talk about symmetry and how we do not falter...
Yep. That seems to be a running theme.
Yep, and again, some were very hard to reach.
Yeah, the descent is up where you can't normally reach it. Well, now I'm reminded of I read once they found a cave with some Norse runes high up that they couldn't decipher for years and years. So all the speculation, was this a religious site? Was this a prayer of some kind? They finally were able to translate it. It translates to roughly Halfdan is here.
I can see my house from here.
Because humans have not changed a whole ton.
Yeah, as a classics major, archaeology tip. It's never a religious item.
Yeah.
Be surprised if it is, but it won't be.
Well, it's like you hear stories, things like, this old tribe used obsidian knives, but they stored them up in the rafters, and the archaeologists are like, oh, did they do this to?
Oh, this guy's about to get crushed. Watch.
It's like, did they do this to? Huh.
Well, took out a big chunk of health. So.
Yeah, it's like the archaeologists are. Oh, they must have done this because they thought they would stay sharp, being close to the sun. And then they asked somebody who was still living in the region, and they're like, No, they did this to keep it out of the reach of the children.
Yeah, that's a very sharp object.
Yeah.
One of the sharpest things you can find on this planet.
There is usually some kind of practical use or purpose between things.
Yeah, not everyone in the past was a, zealot.
Or superstitious.
Yeah, it's kind of like...
They were just a little stitious.
Yeah. Somewhat stitious.
Moderately stitious.
I remember in a Latin class we were going over such and such the great and his son. We shared the same name, so I just go such and such the good enough. We remember him.
That's like OSP's video about Alexander the Great, where Blue never calls him Alexander the Great. It's always Alexander the okay, Alexander. He runs through like a dozen synonyms for great, and then it's stuff like Alexander the I can't remember, but like he starts getting sarcastic. I know, surprise.
Yeah. I remember their apology episode was like, we were never actually that sarcastic.
Highlight of my Friday morning is seeing what they've posted.
Yep. Were they both recently?
I think the last one was Blue did something on Sparta recently.
Right. I do remember that one.
Oh, it was another video from Blue. It might have been about Plato. My phone here, I could just check.
Yeah. On the infinite, knowledge device that we all care.
Yeah, it's like I have a phone. Oh, it's Castles of Wales.
Okay.
2 weeks ago was Plato. But I don't know that there's any discernible pattern, but I figure we're due for either a detailed diatribe tomorrow or one of Red's videos. I kind of like the mythology stuff more.
Yeah. So, there it is.
That looks like a squid.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Is this a screen nuke?
Yep.
That's the BFG.
Yep.
That is a purple BFG.
Pretty much. Yeah, this
So,
is probably the least deviant of the weapons. And if I'm honest, kind of the least fun to use. Because it's like, you're basically canceling a fight.
I mean, there's something to be said.
Yeah, for just the power of...
Overwhelming power.
Yeah, overwhelming power. Secrets. Yeah. I think there's another way of actually getting up here, but I didn't even need to come up here. Anyway.
Yeah, you're full on everything except for the purple energy.
That's the thing about secrets in FPSs. It's like you won't find anything unique. Like sometimes you'll find a reference or a joke or something like that, but you're not going to get like a heart piece.
Yeah, it's more like, okay, fill you up on ammo.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
So
it's all useful, but...
Yeah, but I've never felt obligated in the same way I'm obligated to find stuff in a classic Zelda game. Game autosaves.
Oh, that's what that sound was.
I don't think those spikes are symmetrical enough.
Well, they make you symmetrical. No, I should have mixed it.
Well, the Crusher will definitely make you symmetrical.
More like a Rorschach test.
Yeah. Those unalignment shall be there.
No, that's a different game.
Yeah.
Well, then again, the demons are not necessarily symmetrical either.
Yeah.
They do meet Doom. It's like that weapon is kind of like a more a higher effort required BFG.
Yeah.
So the trade-off is you have to, keep your aim steady and risk the hit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of why it is one of my favorites.
So what is the BFG supercharge mode?
It opens black holes.
Oh. Yeah, that would do it. But that's the thing. That's something that already kills everything on the screen.
But do you
How
see
do
what
you
I-
make that bigger?
Do you see what I mean with spaces? Like, we have something that launches planets. Another thing that opens black holes.
Yeah, it is space, but that is not necessarily not fantasy.
Well, I'm not saying it's not fantasy, but specifically not medieval, if that makes any sense.
I mean, planets existed in medieval times.
No, they don't. They were just discovered. No. All right, I'm not doing that. Not doing that. Dodge! But kind of like, motif-wise, I guess, a focus on planets.
I mean,
And yes, there are planets in the planet. Anyway, whatever.
I know they're the Crushers, but I keep thinking that's like something stomping for you.
Yeah. Well, you don't really fight anything. Well, I guess you fight one or two things that big.
So are you lost again?
Possibly. Oh, no.
Not cool, we just go. You gotta work on dodging.
Yeah. Oh, of course, it's closed off. I'll be fine.
As he quick saves.
I said I'll be fine. It doesn't mean I'll be stupid. Yeah. Like... Well, having indulged in a bit of Warhammer, these guys kind of remind me of the Space Marines. Says that, like to call everything heresy and basically violent space Catholics. It's kind of old instincts that like, oh, I'm in water, I better hurry this up, but no, we're fine.
Yeah.
Also, getting out of it can be weird.
There you go, now you got you.
Didn't even land on the platform, but doesn't matter.
Very tense music, too.
Yeah.
It's very much an old school doors and corners kind of thing.
Yep. Well, they can trace back, the basic design to Catacombs, which would later be Catacombs 3D, where it's you're in a maze-like thing, and sometimes you shoot a wall to open things up, and just saying that out loud explains a lot about FPSs.
Well, you have one way to interact with the world.
Shoot. Oh, and sometimes grunt at a door. Perfection. Ugh. Alignment. Board. Sequence in big air quotes there.
Oh, it's 1, 2, 3, that's a sequence.
Ah!
Oh, jeez.
Ugh.
This one.
Don't blame me, blame the BFG.
It just shoot you up in the air now.
Well, actually, you can use a bit of momentum. Here, I'll demonstrate. Notice I jumped a bit higher.
Yeah.
There are some puzzles around that.
hard. Jesus.
Oh, that's what I was waiting for.
That did it.
A little squishy, these guys are.
They look squishy.
Whee!
Well, I hope there's something down there.
Well, here's the thing. You exit the place like that, but the next... I don't think it'll actually reflect anything.
No,
Okay,
no.
okay, there's a hole in the ceiling, but we splashed into some water. Anyway.
Get dried up.
So this is another one I can be... See, a lot of the bosses...
Oh, it's the boss already?
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah, went through 3 levels.
that was quick. The
It's either...
scrounge.
Yeah, most of the bosses is either...
What's the super mode on this thing?
Yeah, it's correct. Basically, this rapid fire kind of explosive shrapnel deal.
Oh.
And you know what? Okay, I guess it's less effective against... Oh no, actually it took out... Ha ha! Oh no, it
A little amateur proctology there.
didn't. Heat atmosphere.
Yeah, I guess if your stuff gets reset, you might as well throw everything you got at it.
Yeah.
Turn into a Metroid there.
You done? I guess there's a way to recharge the soul thing in the middle of battle. So yeah, there are a couple of secrets here, but again, why?
Ah, it's quiet all of a sudden.
Oh, yeah, I need that. I don't... Alright, there are 3 of them. I think they're...
Up there somewhere.
Yeah. On we go! So the thing I'm going to do is, before we quit, I'm just going to go straight to the next one so that it doesn't screw up again. Okay.
So what is the next one?
Well, we actually have a choice.
Back, champion.
So this basically opens up the rest of them except for the last one. And there's a specific order I kind of prefer to go into.
What are our options?
So we have the Sacred Path, Arcane Expanse, the Solar Solstice versus the Astral Equinox, so that's their other, and the Forges. I kind of prefer to go to the Sacred one because it's kind of my least favorite.
Alright, we'll get that out of the way.
Yeah, get that out of the way, and I mean it's still very nice looking,
Oh, I'm
and
sure it is.
has some cool moments, but it's overall my least favorite. So get a quick glimpse into that, and I think we're going to wrap this up for right now.
Alright.
Jerry goes away.
Oh, that was trippy. Alright, that's if you would ask, I would have figured this was the Forges. Because it kind of has that Middle-earth dwarven
Yeah,
feel
but
look to it. Right from this, I'm sure it's going to look different and bloodier in a minute.
yeah, well, Forges is definitely the most Quake of this Quake-inspired game. Okay, so
Alright.
next time we take on the Sacred Path.
Alright, I've been Mike Curley.
This is Frank Curley.
Good night.
Good night.